The marble floors of the Belmont Plaza gleamed under crystal chandeliers as Thomas Brennan handed his credit card to the woman at the front desk. At 38, he still turned heads with his dark hair and confident smile. The woman clinging to his arm certainly seemed impressed. "This place is gorgeous," Nina breathed, her burgundy dress catching the light as she pressed closer to him. At 26, she was young enough to be dazzled by luxury hotels and expensive dinners. "I can't believe we're staying here." "I promised you the best," Thomas said, squeezing her hand. "Nothing but the best for you." The receptionist in her green blazer smiled professionally as she processed his card. "Welcome to the Belmont Plaza, Mr. Brennan. We're so pleased to have you with us this evening." Thomas barely glanced at her, too focused on Nina's excitement and the prospect of the evening ahead. His wife Jennifer thought he was in Chicago for a business conference. She always believed his travel stories, never questioned the late-night calls or weekend trips. After 12 years of marriage, she trusted him completely. That trust had made his double life remarkably easy. "Your room is ready," the receptionist said, sliding a key card across the counter. "However, I should mention that our new owner is meeting with guests this evening. She likes to personally welcome everyone staying with us during her first week." "New owner?" Thomas asked, only mildly interested. "Yes, sir. The hotel changed hands just 3 days ago. Quite exciting for all of us. She should be here any moment." Thomas took the key card, eager to get upstairs. Nina was already pulling him toward the elevators when a voice stopped him cold. "Thomas," one word, just his name. But it was spoken in a voice he knew as well as his own. He turned slowly, his stomach dropping, and found himself staring at his wife. Jennifer stood 10 feet away in a navy blue suit that he had never seen before. Her dark hair was pulled back elegantly, and she wore the kind of confident expression he associated with boardroom executives, not with the woman who usually greeted him at home in casual clothes and an apron. "Jennifer?" His voice came out strangled. "What are you doing here?" "I own this hotel," she said calmly, walking toward him. "As of Monday morning. Didn't I mention I was making some investments?" Nina's grip on his arm loosened as she looked between them with growing horror. "Wait, is this your wife?" "Yes," Jennifer said before Thomas could respond. "I'm Mrs. Brennan, and you must be Nina Peterson from Thomas's office. The marketing coordinator, correct?" Nina went pale. "How did you know?" "I know quite a lot of things," Jennifer replied, her tone pleasant, but her eyes hard. "For instance, I know this isn't your first visit to a hotel with my husband. The Riverside Inn last month, the Continental 2 months before that. Should I continue?" Thomas felt the world tilting beneath him. "Jennifer, this isn't what it looks like." "Really?" "Because it looks like you brought your mistress to a luxury hotel for the evening, using the credit card that's linked to our joint account. The same account I've been monitoring for the past 6 months?" The receptionist at the desk had gone very still, clearly unsure whether to disappear or stay at her post. Another woman in a dark business suit had appeared from a side office, watching the scene unfold with crossed arms and a knowing expression. "You've been spying on me?" Thomas demanded, trying to regain some sense of control. "Spying?" Jennifer's laugh was brittle. "Thomas, you weren't exactly subtle. Late nights at the office that your secretary couldn't account for. Weekend conferences that your boss never mentioned. Hotel charges on our shared credit card. I didn't need to spy. I just needed to pay attention." Nina pulled away from Thomas completely, backing toward the door. "I'm leaving. I want no part of this." "Please don't leave on my account," Jennifer said, her voice stopping Nina mid-step. "In fact, why don't you stay? The room is already paid for. Enjoy the spa, order room service, take advantage of the amenities. Consider it compensation for your time." "Jennifer, what are you doing?" Thomas hissed. "I'm being generous," she replied. "Nina here didn't break any vows. You did. She deserves a nice evening even if you don't." Nina looked between them, clearly torn between escape and the lure of a free luxury hotel room. Finally, she grabbed the key card from Thomas's hand. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Brennan. I really didn't know he was married." "I believe you," Jennifer said, and there was genuine sympathy in her voice. "He doesn't wear his ring when he travels, does he?" Nina shook her head, tears in her eyes, and fled toward the elevators. Thomas watched her go, then turned back to his wife. "Can we talk about this somewhere private?" Of course. My office is just through here. Jennifer gestured toward the side door, where the other woman in the suit still stood. That's my attorney, by the way, Margaret Chen. She's been very helpful over the past few months. The attorney nodded coolly at Thomas. Mr. Brennan. Jennifer's office was elegant and professional, with a large desk and windows overlooking the city. The attorney followed them in and closed the door, taking a seat in the corner with a leather portfolio. How long have you known? Thomas asked, too shocked to think of anything else to say. About Nina specifically? 2 months. About your affairs in general? Almost a year. The first one was Stephanie from accounting, wasn't it? Then that woman you met at the industry conference. I stopped keeping exact count after the 4th one. Thomas sank into a chair. If you knew for a year, why didn't you say anything? Because I needed time to prepare, to document everything, to make sure that when I was ready to end this marriage, I would do so from a position of strength. Jennifer sat behind her desk, every inch the successful businesswoman. While you were busy betraying me, I was busy consulting with divorce attorneys, forensic accountants, and business advisors. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that our house is in my name only. My parents insisted when we bought it. The investment accounts we share were funded primarily by my inheritance. The car you drive is registered to me. And as of Monday, I own this hotel along with 2 other properties in the city. Thomas felt panic rising. You used your inheritance money without telling me? I used my inheritance money on my investments, just like you used our credit cards on your mistresses. The difference is that my investments are legal and legitimate. The attorney spoke for the first time. Mr. Brennan, you'll be served with divorce papers tomorrow morning. Given the documented evidence of adultery and the financial trail my client has compiled, I suggest you hire competent counsel. Evidence? Jennifer opened a drawer and pulled out a thick folder. Hotel receipts, credit card statements, text messages, emails, photographs. 6 months of documentation. I hired a private investigator in February. You'd be surprised how much evidence accumulates when someone isn't being careful. You hired a private investigator? I did. I also consulted with 3 different divorce attorneys before choosing Margaret. I reviewed 12 years of financial records. I calculated exactly what I'm entitled to and what you're entitled to. And I came to a realization. What realization? That I don't need you. I never did. You convinced me that supporting your career was more important than pursuing my own. That being your wife was enough, but it wasn't. I gave up a promising career in hotel management to follow you around the country for your job. I put my dreams on hold while you chased yours. And this is how you repaid me. Thomas felt genuine shame for perhaps the first time. Jennifer, I'm sorry. I know I've made mistakes. Mistakes? Her voice rose slightly, the first crack in her professional demeanor. Thomas, mistakes are forgetting anniversaries or leaving dishes in the sink. What you did was make a choice, over and over again. You chose to betray me. You chose to lie to me. You chose to disrespect our marriage and everything we built together. Can't we try to work this out? Counseling or something? No, I'm done, Thomas. I spent months being angry, being hurt, being heartbroken, but somewhere along the way I realized something important. Your betrayal freed me. It showed me that the life I was living wasn't the life I wanted. So I took the money my parents left me, the money you kept trying to convince me to invest in your business ventures, and I invested in myself instead. By buying hotels? By buying my future. By becoming the person I was always meant to be. By building something that's mine, that no one can take from me. Margaret stood, handing Thomas a business card. My contact information. Have your attorney reach out. Mrs. Brennan's terms are outlined in the divorce petition you'll receive tomorrow. I'd advise you to review them carefully. What terms? Jennifer answered. You can keep your car, your retirement account, and your personal belongings. I keep the house, the investment portfolio, and my businesses. You're responsible for your own debts, including the credit card bills from your various trysts. And we split custody of our social circle. I'm sure they'll all be very interested to hear why our marriage ended. You'd tell everyone? I won't have to. Word is already spreading. Hotels talk, Thomas. Front desk staff, managers, concierges. They all know each other. By tomorrow morning, everyone will know that Thomas Brennan brought his mistress to a hotel owned by his wife. It makes quite a story. Thomas stood, trying to salvage some dignity. You planned all of this. The hotel purchase, being here tonight. This was all revenge. No, Jennifer said firmly. Revenge would be destroying you. This isn't about you at all. This is about me finally putting myself first. The hotel purchase was a sound business investment. The fact that you chose to bring Nina here was just fortunate timing. Fortunate for you. Yes, it was. It gave me the perfect opportunity to tell you face to face that I'm done. That I've moved on. That I'm not the woman you left at home anymore. Thomas walked to the door, then paused. What happens now? You leave. You find somewhere else to stay tonight because you're no longer welcome at our house. I've changed the locks. Your belongings are in storage. And tomorrow, you start dealing with the consequences of your choices. Jennifer, please. It's Mrs. Brennan. Or better yet, it's Ms. Whitmore. I'm taking my maiden name back. Jennifer Brennan is gone. She was too trusting, too willing to overlook things, too ready to believe the best in people. Jennifer Whitmore knows better. Thomas left the office, walking through the beautiful lobby that was now owned by the wife he had betrayed. The receptionist at the front desk didn't meet his eyes. The doorman held the door open in silence. Everyone knew. Everyone had witnessed his humiliation. As he stood on the street outside the Belmont Plaza, his phone buzzed with a text from Nina. I'm sorry, but I can't be involved in this. Please don't contact me again. Another buzz. This is Jennifer. I've canceled the credit card you used for the hotel. You'll need to find your own way home. Thomas stood there in the evening air, realizing that in the span of an hour he had lost his wife, his mistress, his home, and his dignity. All because he had been careless enough, arrogant enough, to think he could get away with betraying the one person who had always believed in him. Jennifer, meanwhile, returned to her desk and looked out at the city lights. Margaret had left to prepare for tomorrow's filing. The hotel staff had returned to their duties. The crisis had passed. She felt lighter than she had in years. The weight of pretending everything was fine, of ignoring the obvious, of living a lie, had been lifted. She was free. Free to build the life she wanted, to pursue the dreams she had set aside, to be the person she had always been meant to become. Her phone rang. Her business partner, calling with news about a fourth property that had just become available. Jennifer smiled and answered. Tell me everything. The next morning, Thomas received the divorce papers. His attorney looked over them and shook his head. Mr. Brennan, unless there are significant errors in these documents, you're looking at a very unfavorable settlement. Your wife's attorney has documented everything. The adultery alone would hurt you in court. But combined with the financial records showing marital funds spent on affairs, the prenuptial agreement you signed, and the fact that most of your marital assets are in her name, you have very little leverage. There must be something we can do. We can fight it. But it will be expensive, public, and you'll likely lose. My advice? Accept the terms and move forward. Thomas thought about fighting, about making Jennifer's life difficult the way she had made his. But then he thought about the documentation she had, the evidence that would become public record, the humiliation that would follow. His job, his reputation, his standing in the community, all would be destroyed. He signed the papers. 6 months later, Jennifer stood at the grand opening of her fourth hotel property. The Belmont Plaza had become the crown jewel of her small empire, known for its elegance and discretion. She had hired Nina as her marketing director, giving the young woman a chance to rebuild her career and self-respect. You didn't have to do this, Nina had said when Jennifer offered her the job. After everything that happened. You were a victim too, Jennifer replied. And you're good at what you do. I believe in second chances, just not for people who squander them repeatedly. Now, as Jennifer cut the ribbon on the new property, surrounded by staff and investors and press, she thought about the woman she used to be, the one who had trusted too easily and believed too readily. That woman was gone, but she hadn't been replaced by someone bitter or broken. Instead, Jennifer Whitmore was confident, successful, and genuinely happy. She had built something real from the ashes of her marriage. She had turned betrayal into opportunity, and sometimes, late at night, she would think about that evening in the hotel lobby when Thomas had walked in with Nina. The shock on his face. The moment he had realized he had been caught. She didn't think about it with satisfaction or vindictiveness. She thought about it as the moment everything changed. The moment she stopped being someone's wife and became herself again. That was worth more than any revenge could ever be. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories about finding strength in difficult moments and choosing yourself when others have chosen to hurt you. Comment below about a time when you discovered you were stronger than you knew. Your story might help someone else find their courage.